Hi everyone. I was talking today about interpretation because your interpretation of anything you hear and see is only going to resonate from your understanding. So, you and I could read the same book and come out of it with a totally different interpretation. We could watch the same movie and come out of it with a totally different interpretation. And quite often, when you are trying to express yourself in a particular way, other people can misinterpret it. And you see this happens a lot with texting. When you text something, your intention behind the words that you're texting are coming from, what you intend. But the person who's reading at the other end, depending on the mood that they're in, depending on what's going on in their life at the moment, will depend on how they interpret it. It's like if you're having a serious kind of day where things are not going right and you're not happy about life for a day, anything you read or engage with, you'll probably interpret it from a negative viewpoint. Whereas if someone was having a happy day and feeling good about themselves, they could read exactly the same thing that they read before, and this time they see it in a funny way. So, and I notice this happens a lot when I'm doing a reading. Um, my guides will tell me to pass the message on to somebody that maybe there's a delay of some sort. So if they've got a plan that they want to go ahead with, the guides will give this information that maybe there's a delay before the plan comes together. But the plan's still coming together. There is just a delay, and quite often the reason for the delay is for your advantage. But what happens is they will read, and their interpretation, depending on how they're feeling when they read it, their interpretation can be oh no, it's not going to happen. They read something into it that's not actually there. So instead of reading that there's just a delay and then it's coming later, all that they can see in that point is it's not coming at all. It's just this interpretation because of how they're feeling in that moment. Yet they can read that same reading back again, in 3 weeks' time and see it differently. They interpret it differently. And it's happening all the time, like with people in the workplace, or say there's two people that are working together and one person is being particularly friendly to a person, being nicer than normal and being a bit cheeky and maybe flirting. They might just be doing that because they're feeling like they're in a really good mood, yet the other person is interpreting that they're interested in them in a different way. So you can see how everything is always coming from your interpretation. And you can't really know, you can't mind read what someone else is thinking. So if you feel like you're interpreting something and you can't quite work it out, are they interested in me or are they just being friendly? Ask them. Ask them, look, I'm interpreting it this way. Is that your intention? And then you'll get the truth, or most of the time you'll get the truth, or you'll just clear the air. So, and like even the other day, when I did my post on that, I felt that there was earthquakes coming, and a couple of people had put in the comments that my predictions were the same as another clairvoyant, and they put the name of this other clairvoyant. So I thought, oh, I've never heard of this person. I'll go and look them up and see if she's picking up exactly the same as me, because I was seeing earthquakes and I was seeing, especially the money system changing very soon, and the little green cards or this little card that I keep seeing everybody getting in the future. Um, so all these little details that I had, and I thought, oh, I'll go and have a look at this other psychic to see if she's picking up the same little details that I'm seeing. And when I watched her video, I'm like, she's not doing remote viewing, and she's not doing future predictions. She was doing more of a generic type reading where it was, she was just saying there was change coming, and evil would be exposed and the truth would be coming out. So, in a way, she was giving a message but without detail, whereas I was trying to give detail. And so, when I look at it, my interpretation is she's doing nothing like me in my work. Yet other people are watching her and watching me and thinking we're doing the same work because that's their interpretation. So it made me start to think, like, sometimes if you get triggered, like if you get triggered that you're being compared to somebody else, or you're getting triggered that you're being judged in some way by somebody, maybe you could turn it around and realize that they are just interpreting it from their own level of understanding, and depending on what mood they're in when they're interacting in that moment, because if you're in a bad mood, you're going to interpret something from a not very nice place. Depending on if you're in a good mood, you interpret it differently. So it really helped me to not judge other people and to not get upset and to not feel triggered, to just think to myself, well, our interpretations are different. I mean, the Bible is the most classic example of interpretation. How many versions are interpreted out of those words? I could say words to you, and you could take them one way, and another person could take them a totally different way. So, just something to remember if you're ever starting to feel triggered by things, or it's upsetting you. Just remind yourself it's just interpretation. That's all it is. So, and I'll have a talk to you soon about something else. Thanks.